College Football Saturday is brought to you by Wendy's. You know when it's real. Northwestern Energy, delivering a bright future. Subway, eat fresh. The University of Montana, higher education, global impact. And Montana Lottery's fantasy sports games. Winners happen.
Welcome back to Hillsboro, Oregon, everybody, as the teams have both just got back out on the field, ready to start the next 30 minutes in a tied-up game at 7. As we got a couple minutes here before the second half starts. With what happened elsewhere in the Big Sky Conference today, Montana State suffering their first loss in conference play to Northern Arizona. That makes Eastern Washington's 4-1, Montana State's 3-1, Northern Arizona's 2-1, and the winner of this game will also only have one loss and be right in the middle of that jumbled mess right now about halfway through this Big Sky season.
And Montana, as a defending champion in so many championships in a row, either shared or won outright, it's just really a ridiculous number and something they can be incredibly proud of. But you know, every great team has to find a way to win a close one, and this is one of those games. Montana cannot afford to drop this game having lost to Eastern Washington, so it's all about tonight. I mean, it's not next week, it's not the end of the season game, it's this game right now. They've got to find a way to get it done.
And on the other sideline, Nigel Burton in his first season as the Portland State head coach. So far, a pretty decent start to his tenure, but this would be the springboard for maybe some great things for the Vikings. They have not beaten the Grizzlies in several years. I believe the last time they won was in 2004 here in Portland. They beat Montana by 3 points. It's been 5 straight victories for the Grizzlies in this series. And right now we are in a battle. Well, now let's take a look at the answer to our trivia question that we gave you earlier on in the first half. How many career touchdown receptions did Robin Pflugrad have while he was at Portland State? And there are your answers. Majority of you think 7, and then the second highest answer was 11. Now, he only played 2 years with the Vikings, and the answer is 4. So 21.1% of you got that one right. 4 touchdown receptions for Robin Pflugrad, a career of 62 catches, 778 yards. And as I mentioned earlier, in 78 and 79, when Pflugrad played for Portland State, they beat Montana both years.
Well, Robin's got his game face on right now. You can see he's concerned. He wants a win and so bad like the players, but he is concerned about his offense. They're going to kick off and go on defense. We also talked about Portland State's quarterback. They've got to keep him in check. They did a great job in the first half, but I think that's a subplot here in the second half.
And Portland State will get the ball first to start this second half as the fans start to find their way back to the seats, and a little chill in the air now as it is officially night here in Oregon. And a short kick by Brody McKnight going to be fielded by the guy who has the only touchdown for the Vikings, Nevin Lewis. Another good return. Out across the 40 to the 45. Jeff Larson in on the saving tackle for the Grizzlies, but Nevin Lewis has only had the ball twice, and he's made something happen each time.
Well, anytime you can get your team really on the other side of the 30-yard line, it's a great return. This one's almost to midfield.
There's also Josh Stuberg, one of the Grizz backup linebackers, who tripped him up on that one, but great field position for the Portland State pistol offense now at the 45. Kavanaugh keeps this one. He's got a seam off the left side, and the quarterback's into the secondary.
Exactly what we've been talking about all night. He is so fast. He's the fastest player on the field, and you can see once he keeps that ball, he's very dangerous.
Gain of 19, and there's also a Grizzly down at the end of the play.
Look at the speed as he runs away from a few people downfield.
Can't tell who it is that is down on the field. It might be Mike McCord, the guy who made the tackle to starting free safety. It is Mike McCord. The Grizzlies have already been banged up a little bit in this game. We have not seen any of Severin Campbell since he went down early in the game.
See J.C. Whita there working with him, the trainer for the Grizz. He might have just had the wind knocked out of him. We hope that's all it is.
drilled by his own player there. Brandon Dodson was the one who hit him. And McCord is up and walking off the field now. Good sign there. The junior out of Phoenix. Played quarterback in high school, now a safety for the Grizzlies. But after that 19-yard gain, Portland State with a first down in Montana territory. And penalty marker stops this play. Looks like a false start against the Vikings.
Dead ball. Eagle snap. Offense number 61. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's that reverse pivot play they've been running all night, and that time they had a receiver running hard across field. I think they wanted to throw deep on that last play.
The penalty was on the center, Adam Kleffner. That's our second illegal snap of the ball game. The junior captain with that one, and now it's 1st and 15. Kavanaugh will throw. Swings it out of the backfield to McCaffrey. Makes the first man miss, and he's inside the 30-yard line. There you see Corey McCaffrey. Been the workhorse so far for the Vikings.
Jordy Tripp on the coverage, I believe, out here on the corner, and McCaffrey able to put a little move on him and run right by him. Jordy took a bite on the move and missed him.
McCaffrey rushed for 8,460 yards in high school. That's the most by far in Oregon history. He's almost 3,000 yards higher than the guy who had the second most yards in Oregon high school history. And now he's doing a great job for Oregon's biggest school in the state, Portland State. Here's Kavanaugh keeping the ball after a high snap. Breaks a couple tackles. He's into the secondary. Kavanaugh inside the 10. Touchdown, Portland State. That play looked like it could be a disaster at the beginning with a bobbled snap. Instead, it's a 29-yard touchdown.
Well, Montana did such a nice job containing him in the first half. It looked like what they've done, Derek, and they've pulled his trigger here in the second half. In essence, they've saved him for this kind of running, and he's so fast. And the Montana players a little more tired than they were in the first half, and this is going to work for him here on this play.
It's a great block downfield by Justin Monahan, too, to help spring the touchdown. And now Portland State's got their first lead of the ball game, 1.5 minutes into the third quarter. Zach Brown drills the extra point to make it 14-7. Nigel Burtonstein on top. Grizzlies get the ball back after this. Portland State on top, 14-7, as we're 1.5 minutes into this second half. A great drive for the Vikings to start the second half. Now Montana will have to answer. Zach Brown to kick off. Trumaine Johnson and deep. And it will be a short kick fielded by one of the up men, Dan Moore. He bursts through the line, and Moore is still on his feet. Finally tripped up at the 42. Dan Moore, one of the running backs for the Grizzlies. He's used to having the ball in his hands. He did a very good job at that return. Well, here's a look at the MontanaGrizzlies.com scoring drive. Only took him 3 plays to go 55 yards. One big run from Kavanaugh, then another play, and then another big run from Kavanaugh. The final one going 28 yards, breaking a couple of tackles for the touchdown. For the most current and complete news and statistics for all Grizzly athletics, log on to MontanaGrizzlies.com. So now Montana, ball at their own 42. Roper will keep this one. He's going to throw, and there's nobody there. Portland State was all over that screen. They were trying to swing it out. It looked like to Sam Gratton. Incomplete.
I think Justin kind of just threw it out of bounds. He saw that the defense was there. Probably a good move on his part.
They faked the run to Reynolds up the middle before, and hurry up look here from Montana. The Grizzlies don't take much time to get ready for second down. They'll give it to Reynolds, who fights forward but only gains about a yard. First guy in on the tackle is Carl Summer, the defensive end.
Talked about the physical nature of the Vikings. They're still bringing a lot of extra pressure and muscle to the hits when they make their hits, and they're gang tackling very well tonight.
Summer, the guy with that tackle, originally went to Oregon State. He's one of 2 Vikings that were actually recruited by Nigel Burton when he was at Oregon State and now have transferred to Portland State. the other one being cornerback David Ross. And this underneath route is going nowhere. Grattan makes the catch, but now it's 4th down.
Well, tough pass there. Really a couple of yards if he catches it, as their defense was all over the play. And that's what he ended up with.
A couple linebackers able to make the tackle on Grattan. They only gained 1 yard after the decent field position, and Montana will punt once again. McKnight, line drive, kind of kicked away from A.J. Powell. He'll let it roll, and the Grizzlies will let it roll out of bounds at the 25-yard line. That's where Portland State will take over on offense once again. Montana's offense really looked to get clicking in those last 2 games. An impressive win at Northern Colorado, and then last week they put up 47 points at home against Idaho State. But right now, struggling to get anything going against this Portland State defense.
We'll see if the Vikings stay with Ryan Kavanaugh. You get the sense that they will. He is so fast. So the defense needs to really keep everything in front of him here.
3 wide receivers to Kavanaugh's left. It's Willie Griffin in the backfield. He'll get the ball up the middle, trying to bounce it. But Trumaine Johnson's there for a loss of maybe a yard.
Nice defense. Trumaine coming up from the defensive back and wrapping him up for a loss.
Willie Griffin originally went to the University of Washington. Actually started a couple games for the Huskies his freshman year and had a great game against Washington State. But didn't see much playing time as a sophomore, and now as a junior. He's transferred a little bit down south here to Portland State. 2nd and 10. Kavanaugh rolling to his left. Now he's going to come back the other way, trying to get to the corner and tripped up. A nice play there defensively. I believe that's, it was Ryan Featherston, who stayed home on that backside of the defense, only a gain of 2.
Montana's defense able to stop the play from going to the left side. Kavanaugh decides to gamble a little bit and go back across the grain. And as you mentioned, Ryan Featherston from Helena doing a nice job to get to the corner and trip him up.
3rd down and about 8 to go. Portland State needs to get to the 35-yard line, for a 1st down. Empty backfield, Kavanaugh. He will throw, and he's looking deep, looking for the big tight end, and it is incomplete. Brandon Dodson almost picked it off. That was Julius Thomas, the big target, running like a wide receiver out there at 6'5", 245 pounds. But the Grizzly defense holds, and we'll see a punt.
Great coverage downfield that time by Trumaine Johnson and Dodson. They kind of had the receiver sandwiched.
Peter Wynn will return this punt, and it's blocked. The Grizzlies got a piece of this one, and there is a penalty marker. It still took a great Portland State bounce. Rolled dead at the 40, so even with the block, it's a punt of 22 yards. We'll see what the penalty marker is now. Thomas Dundam, the punter, has a very good average this year, over 43 yards a kick, the former Australian rules football player.
Well, Grizzlies been going for several blocks tonight. This is at least the 3rd one they've tried to get. They did get that one.
I think it's either Jeff Larson or Andrew Badger. I couldn't tell which one, but they were both right there. And I don't know what penalty is. Came from downfield right as the punt was being blocked.
The side judge made the call.
Face mask. Receiving team, number 15. 15-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down.
And that negates the block punt because it'll move the Grizzlies all the way back to the 25-yard line. Dave Guffey's in the booth here with us, made a good point. Obviously was not number 15 for the Grizzlies, because the last time somebody wore that, it was Dave Dickinson. I don't think Dave Dickinson had the face mask penalty there. But Montana now marked all the way back to the 25. The blocked punt ends up not hurting Portland State at all. Roper going to run the option, pitches to Gerald Kemp. Gets a little bit of room and a gain of about 5, maybe 6.
Nice execution there, little fake inside to Chase Reynolds. He draws a lot of defenders with him. And a nice pitch by Justin on the corner.
Montana again going with the no-huddle attack. 2nd down and 4. There's a fly to Kemp again. Good block by Reynolds, but Kemp's got nowhere to go. Took too long to get to the corner. A tackle made by Nathan Snow, the free safety. No gain.
He probably needs a break after those 2 runs. That time just stretching the defense all the way across the field. Couldn't get upfield much, so it'll be 3rd and long here.
Third and 5, Grizzlies got to get across the 35. Empty backfield. And a whistle timeout called by Portland State as we just ticked under 10 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. We'll take a timeout with the Vikings. Grizzlies with a big 3rd down coming up right after this. A near capacity crowd here at Hillsborough Stadium enjoying what is a very tight post game here early in the 3rd quarter, and a big 3rd down coming up for the Grizzlies. Montana, as you see there, only 2 for 10 so far this game. Portland State not any better, 1 for 9. But the one that matters most is what about to happen here. 3rd and 5 from the Grizz, their own 30. Trying to get a 1st down and keep this drive alive, trailing by 7. 4 wide receivers, including tight end Greg Hardy, split out. Now Chase Reynolds goes out as a receiver. We're going to go deep down the sidelines to Reynolds, and did he come down with it? No, incomplete. Good coverage out there by Portland State.
Looked like the Portland State Vikings were ready for that. They actually threw a couple extra defenders over on top of Chase here. He almost made a terrific catch on the sideline.
Coverage by linebacker Jacob Shoemaker. Well, don't forget, First Montana Bank will donate $500. Excuse me, do you see that punt right there? First Montana Bank will donate $500 to be used for breast cancer research to the Montana chapter of the Susan G. Komen Foundation for each successful Grizzly field goal during today's game and all season long. So far, the Grizz have not had a chance at one. Brody McKnight's been doing most of his work as a punter, as he did on that last one. And the Vikings will take over inside their own 35. But so far this season, the 10 field goals for Brody McKnight has raised $5,000. Thank you to First Montana Bank for helping out with that. Portland State back on offense at their own 35-yard line. Connor Cavanaugh running the pistol. Quarterback draw up the middle. Cavanaugh's got about 5, maybe 6 before the Grizz wrap him up.
Again, plan play all the way, quarterback draw. They've saved him until second half, and now a steady diet of running him because of his quickness.
This is only Portland State's 2nd home game of the season. They only played 4 here this year. And the last time they played here at home, Cavanaugh had a great day. Threw for 216 yards with only 4 incompletions, 2 touchdowns, and rushed for 125 and another touchdown in a blowout win over the Idaho State Bengals. And he's had a very good start to the second half, even if he was a little sluggish to start the game. Penalty marker stops play, both sides pointing at each other.
Might go against the Vikings as 2 Montana players went at the same time, saying the center snapped the ball a little quick.
Dead ball, offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, result of the play, 1st down.
Couldn't catch the number there, but a couple different Grizzlies came across, and that gives a 1st down to Portland State.
See, the center moved his hand, and official could call that as an illegal snap by moving that hand, but they called the Montana players free 1st down.
Cavanaugh will give this one up the middle, and there is nothing there for Corey McCaffrey. Ryan Featherston and others team up for a loss, or maybe no gain on the play.
You know, the center's allowed to talk about blocking assignments with his guards and tackles there. That's a lot of what that pointing is. But if he's simulating a snap with that left hand, he could be called for that. It's pretty close, actually.
2nd and 9 after that play. 3 wide receivers to Kavanaugh's right. They'll run a tight end in motion to that side as well. Very heavy towards the wide side of the field here are the Vikings. Kavanaugh will give it straight up the middle to McCaffrey. And no gain. The Grizzlies came out of the pile with the ball, but they're marking him dead. Gain of 2, Caleb McSurdy with the tackle.
It was interesting on the last time out, the Portland State team not only just brought the defense over, but his coach called the whole team over to the huddle, and they were talking as a unit, and he's got them pretty fired up on that sideline. They're starting to smell a little blood in the water, and they're getting excited on the Portland State side.
Here's a 3rd down and 6. Montana's got the best 3rd down defense in the country this year. They're only giving up first downs on 18% of 3rd downs, and here's a big one. 3rd and 6. Kavanaugh's going to take off, and he is stopped short. Caleb McSurdy in on the stop once again, 2 yards shy of the first down. 4th and short. We'll see what Portland State does here.
Jimmy Wilson, I think, also in on that. Does a nice job bringing a load at the end of the hit. That'll slow that quarterback down just a little bit if he takes hit like that on a regular basis.
And Portland State does march their punting unit onto the field. They need about 1.5 yards for a first down, but they will punt it away here instead. Grizzlies got a piece of the last one. It's Thomas Dundum. He's going to fake, he's going to throw, set up a screen, and it's incomplete. Right through the hands of Nevin Lewis, the guy with the kick return today, and that looked like he had plenty of room to pick up the first down if Lewis had caught that.
I was just going to say, Portland State had played that series pretty conservatively, running the ball. Then they come out here with a fake punt. Pretty good spot to do it because of the good field position, but a break for Montana now, and they really need to capitalize here with the ball at near midfield.
Good spot of the field to pull a fake like that, because like you said, now the ball is still in Montana territory, but could be a momentum changing play. We'll see what Montana's offense do with the ball. Trumaine Johnson's back in at wide receiver on this 4 wide set for the Grizzlies. Now Gerald Kemp will come back to the backfield. Here's a pitch to Trumaine Johnson, who's going to throw. He's going deep for Sam Grattan. Incomplete. Good coverage right out there by David Ross, who never bit on that play at all.
Neat looking play though, little zone read, reverse fake, and then throw out of it. We talked about the playbook being open. I like the call on first down too, and kind of break the mold here, but the ball just not quite on target. He actually could have run the ball instead of throwing it for an easy first down.
It looked like Trumaine Johnson had a lot of room around the corner here as Portland State really bit on that play. But now Jordan Johnson in at quarterback for the first time tonight. He hands it off up the middle to Chase Reynolds, and only a gain of 1. Jack Forbes in on the tackle for Portland State. The true freshman quarterback, we hadn't seen him yet tonight. He's played a little bit in each of the last 2 games from just down the road in Eugene. He's the top player in the state of Oregon last year in high school. Now back in his home state, hoping to lead the Grizzlies here on a 3rd down and 9.
Blitz.
They do bring pressure after the freshman, and it's a little handoff up the middle to Reynolds, who's got nowhere to go. Jacob Shoemaker, who's been in on a lot of plays today, makes the stop. A loss of 4, and Montana has to punt it right back to the Vikings.
Boy, the Montana offense just frustrated. Nothing going here. Chase only got 1 yard on the run before. This time he really gets 0, loses a couple. Montana offense is frustrated, no doubt.
Again, the Grizzlies cannot capitalize on a Portland State mistake, the failed fake punt. Brody McKnight's line drive kick fielded. A.J. Powell avoided a couple of huge hits and goes down at the 26-yard line. Portland State up 14-7 with 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. We'll be back after this. Not quite a full moon here in Oregon, but still a beautiful night. Portland State, trying to make it even better for the home crowd. Already up by 7 with the ball here. First down and 10. They're going to hand it off to Griffin on the left side. And a decent gain for Willie Griffin. About 5, maybe 6 yards.
Well, you can see there he's visiting with the defense a little bit on the way back. You mentioned how bad the Vikings want to break one here for a home win, and they're starting to sense it a little bit, up by 7 here late in the third.
Griffin with a gain of 5 on that one. They've subbed him and McCaffrey in and out for each other very well tonight. Now they'll split them out wide as it's an empty backfield. Kavanaugh will throw. Grizzlies bring pressure. He's got some room up the middle to run. He's got more than enough for the first down. Still on his feet. He fumbled the ball. It's loose. Still loose. Picked up by Brandon Dodson, and he's going the other way for the Grizzlies. Brandon Dodson all the way into Portland State territory. What a crazy play. And the Grizzlies might have got the break they just needed.
Exactly right. That's going to make the highlight reel. I was about to say the defense is going to have to score or make a big play for their team to get back in this thing, and exactly what happened on this play. Great run, and they strip it out, and then the pandemonium after that.
I think about 5 people touched the ball right there, and Brandon Dodson picks it up. A great play by the senior corner, and that was an example, Bob, of sometimes you see Kavanaugh already had the first down, trying to get a couple extra yards, and it's that little extra effort sometimes that causes that fumble.
Great play by the defense. Now the offense really needs to move the chains and at least get a field goal out of this drive.
Justin Roper's back in, and there's a completion on the far sideline to Greg Hardy, the tight end. They actually marked Dodson out of bounds at the 49-yard line, so the Grizzlies started at their own territory and then pick up 6 yards on first down.
Greg Hardy's done a nice job. We saw him drop one earlier, which is uncharacteristic of him. From Fairview, Montana. He's a really good player and just a young player as a sophomore.
2nd and 4. Roper feels the pressure again going out to Hardy, and again, same play, same looking thing. This one goes for a gain of 7 and a first down for Montana into Portland State, inside the Portland State 40.
Perfect execution, good decisions that time by Justin.
And this has been a game that has kind of seemed to have no momentum, no real feel from the crowd here. And now on just a couple of plays, the Grizzlies trying to get some momentum. 1st and 10. Roper rolling to his left. He's going to throw down the middle of the field, and he just led Sam Grattan a little bit too far. Grattan was inside the 15 and had good position.
You know, that's the second pass to Grattan that Justin would love to have back. Just about a foot or so away from a great catch.
Just got into the official attendance here tonight, about 6,500 at Hillsborough Stadium. That is holding about 7,500 this year, so about 1,000 away from a sellout and a good crowd here in Hillsborough for this game, which is a great game right now. Screen to Chase Reynolds, nothing but daylight in front of him. Touchdown, Grizzlies! Chase Reynolds adds to his record, and the Grizzlies are an extra point away from tying the game.
That was the perfect call by Jonathan Smith, offensive coordinator for the Grizz. The Vikings were bringing pressure. He saw that coming. They've been doing it pretty regularly. They come with a screen out here to Chase. He gets to the corner and then does what he does best.
37 yards and a touchdown for Chase Reynolds. He already broke the school record for total touchdowns last week, and now he's in the end zone once again, the 55th time in his career. And now Brody McKnight's extra point is right down the middle. And with 3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, we're tied back up here in Hillsborough. 14-14, what a big play for Montana.
You know, the great thing about that series is it seemed like they got their momentum back on offense. Some nice passes to Hardy and this beautiful screen pass to Chase. That is exactly what Montana needed here late in the third.
You saw Roper put his hands up before Reynolds even caught the ball. He knew this one was going to go. Watch this. He knows at that point, that's before Reynolds had even caught the ball and was running downfield.
Yeah, you could see open field all the way. You know, Justin's 4-0 as a starter, and he would dearly love to become 5-0 after tonight.
Well, remember, coming up near the end of the game, we will present the Northwestern Energy players of the game. Northwestern Energy delivering a bright future. The momentum of this entire game changed, and really you mentioned, Bob, that they got some momentum on offense there, but the fumble for Portland State. Kavanaugh had a first down near midfield, fumbles the ball, Montana recovers, and in 3 plays, touchdown, and now we're tied back up.
It is so characteristic of Montana's defense, formerly under Craig Paulson, the D coordinator, now under Mike Bresky. It seems like year after year, all these years we've been doing these, the defense always finds a way to help out, and that play really did it for them.
Grizzlies had some turnover problems on offense this year. They lead the conference in turnovers, but they also lead the conference in the amount of turnovers forced. And we're 1-1 in that category tonight. Pooch kicked from Pitt, kicked by Brody McKnight, and the ball's fumbled but out of bounds. And Portland State will take over near their own 30-yard line.
Well, he talked about the physical nature of the Vikings, and of course one of the characteristics of the Grizzlies over the last many decades is their physical play too. So we'll see if they can continue to answer, which they have been here in the second half.
Well, here's a look at the MontanaGrizzlies.com scoring drive after the fumble recovery by Brandon Dodson, and only took 4 plays, less than a minute off of the clock. The last 37 yards on the short pass from Roper to Reynolds, touchdown, and we are tied up. For the most current and complete news and statistics for all Grizzly athletics, log on to MontanaGrizzlies.com. First and 10 now for Portland State. They're going to run an option to the left side. They actually give it to the dive man, and McCaffrey's got nowhere to go. Jimmy Wilson with the tackle.
Yeah, guess who? Jimmy Wilson was all over that. He did not bite on the fake and stayed home and made a great play. Pretty confusing play here. They're going to pull it, but they don't. And then Jimmy's right there.
I was thrown off by the fake, but it looked like if Kavanaugh had kept that one, there was some room on the left side. Instead, he gave it to the dive man, and it's a loss of 3.
You'll see Kavanaugh run the ball in this series.
Grizzlies show blitz, but back off. Kavanaugh steps away from the rush. Now he's going to take off, and he takes a shot along the sidelines after a gain of only 1.
Well, we talked about physical play. They didn't just nudge him out of bounds. He was introduced to the out of bounds. Jordy Tripp helping out with that.
And this crowd, which has got a lot of maroon in it, I wouldn't say it's quite half, but the maroon wearing faithful starting to get loud here in Hillsborough Stadium, as it's going to be 3rd down and 12 for Portland State right after the Grizzlies have tied this game up.
Well, we talked about the Vikings smelling blood in the water, and I think it's about a 50-50 mix right now. Both clubs have a shot at winning this game.
Empty backfield. Kavanaugh in the shotgun. Throws out tipped in the air. Kavanaugh catches it, and he's going nowhere. A loss of 3. Kavanaugh, that ball I think hit the hand of Tyler Hobbs.
We talked about how he's hard to block, and at the end does a great job, gets his hands up.
It was Featherston, actually, Ryan Featherston.
Ryan is a tall player, and he's held his ground.
And then Featherston's also in on the tackle. That'll go as a completion from Kavanaugh to Kavanaugh. Montana's looks like they're going to come after this one. Now they pull off. And the punt by Dundum angles Peter Wynn towards the sideline. He's going to field it off a bounce. I don't know if you're allowed to fair catch it off of a bounce, but it's down at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, I think he can fair catch that after it even hits the ground, but it'll be Montana ball in pretty good field position. And the good news for their offense is they had it clicking on the last series. We'll see if they can keep that rolling.
Here comes Justin Roper now. The Grizzlies, really, their offense today has been mostly just the 2 big plays. A 33-yard touchdown to Antoine Moutra in the first half, and now a 37-yard touchdown to Chase Reynolds in the second half. Roper's going to go deep on the first play. Jeff Larson made a great adjustment, but couldn't haul in the catch.
Good decision by Justin. He saw the single coverage on the left sideline. What he tried to do there, I think, is spotted on the back shoulder and let Larson come back for the ball, but he wasn't able to. A pretty good idea there by Justin.
Grizzlies quickly back at the line of scrimmage. 3 wide receivers to Roper's right. They'll set up a screen to the left to Chase Reynolds. Lowers his shoulder and picks up 2. But good job there by Portland State star safety Deshaun Shedd, who was all over that one.
Yeah, the Vikings sold out. As soon as they saw that pass go, about 4 of their defenders took off for the sideline to stop Chase. See if you can see it here. Chase just kind of flares out. He throw it to him, and then they sell out to knock it down.
Third down play here. Roper rolling out, in trouble, and he is sacked. Late penalty marker down as well. Roper's sacked back at the 28. I believe it's Jack Forbes, the D end, who will get credit with the sack, but we'll check the penalty. And there's also a Portland State Viking still down on the turf, just away from the referees right there on your screen. Or I might be mistaken, that might be a Grizzly player down, can't tell yet.
I think it is a Viking, Derek.
It is a Viking, okay. And it is, we get a better shot there, you see it looks to be number 54, I believe. Yes, that's Jacob Shoemaker, the linebacker, who's played very well tonight, the sophomore out of Sacramento, California.
Clipping. Offense, number 68. Penalty is 1. 4th down.
That penalty was on Steven Saban, the Grizzlies' left guard.
See if we can see the injury here.
Oh, he got rolled under by his own player.
Yep, exactly right. And they're, this could be pretty serious. It looks like they're bringing a splint out, and he's real motionless, which generally indicates a pretty bad injury.
Portland State declined that clipping penalty, so it will be a sack of 5 yards on Justin Roper. And the Grizzlies will be left with 4th down and 14, and will have to punt as soon as they take care of Jacob Shoemaker here.
You know, we've seen plays like this a lot of times. If there's the clip, I think they called, but that's not where the injury occurred. It was, as you mentioned, after the play where they ran into one another.
There's both Grizzly and Portland State athletics staff helping out Jacob Shoemaker right now. Last year, he was one of several Portland State had a lot of players that played as true freshmen last year that are now true sophomores. And Shoemaker had 39 tackles last year, including 4 in the game against the Grizzlies. Oh, and that, from that view, if you watch his leg, it looks to be a very serious.
Yeah, it looked like the trainer ran out and got a splint, so I'm sure they're going to isolate this and get it all set up for him to be transported off, but it did look like he got his leg or ankle.
They're bringing a stretcher onto the field now. We're late here in the 3rd quarter, and they're bringing out a couple of the Portland State linemen probably to lift him onto the stretcher. Unfortunate injury for Shoemaker. He's one of 11 children. As a senior in high school, he had 169 tackles and was the Defensive Player of the Year, picked by the Sacramento Bee.
You hate to see it. Everybody's playing so hard trying to help their teams win, and what's a very tight game, and actually one of your own players just flying around runs into you. That can happen.
Just got word in another game with some national implications today. Wisconsin beats Ohio State 31-18, so the Buckeyes stay at number 1 in the country. Last 1 week, and a lot of people in this area might be happy because that might make the Oregon Ducks number 1 next week. The crowd's giving a cheer now to Shoemaker, who is up on the stretcher. There's Nigel Burton. Burton and Pflugrad have known each other for several years. When Burton was an assistant coach at Oregon State, Pflugrad was spending some time at Oregon. They recruited against each other pretty heavily in that battle here they call the Civil War in Oregon. Burton played his college football 1 year at Pacific, and then they closed the program down. He called it the best thing that's ever happened to him, because then he transferred to the Washington Huskies and became a star safety for the Pac-10 team in Seattle. There's Shoemaker.
And he's going to get a big ovation by everybody here, not just the Viking fans, because he played his heart out tonight. Glad to see he looks alert and okay.
Cheering on his teammates and trying to pump up the crowd at the same time.
Well, as a player, you know that stuff can happen. You hope it doesn't, but he played his heart out as his teammates and the Grizzlies are tonight.
I'm sure Jack Forbes, difficult situation for him. He's a defensive player at Portland State who rolled up onto his own teammate. Just an unfortunate play, really, for everybody involved. The Grizzlies got sacked and Portland State lost one of their best linebackers. And now it'll be 4th down and 14. Brody McKnight will punt it away to A.J. Powell. Still a tie game here in the final minute of the third quarter. McKnight, another line drive kick. Powell's going to let it bounce, and that might have hit a Portland State player.
They didn't beanbag it, which usually
It is Grizzly ball.
Wow, that was an 80-yard play, 70-yard play in favor of the Grizzlies. Huge play for them.
Ethan Pateman recovers it, the freshman redshirt out of Stevensville, who's just starting to get some playing time for the Grizzlies. Let's see if we can see who it hits here. It bounces, and right there it bounced off the knee of Michael Williams, one of the cornerbacks. And a huge break for Montana. They'll now have a first down at Portland State's 30-yard line.
And you can see A.J. Powell saying, get away from the ball, Portland State return man, but he didn't realize it touched one of his players. Big break for the Grizz.
It wasn't a very good punt from McKnight. It was a low line drive kick that didn't go very far. But here comes the Grizzlies. Roper, quick throw, too high, intended for Greg Hardy, incomplete. Second and 10.
One of the good positions here on the field with that turnover, Derek, is their ability to go deep into the end zone.
Grizzlies not huddling here, but they're taking their time, getting everybody situated.
Not to mention a field goal opportunity. They're in that area right now.
Reynolds will go in motion to the right. Roper's going to throw quick. He's got Antoine Mutra on the slant, and he's going to be stopped 1 yard shy of the first down by Deshaun Shedd. 3rd and 1 coming up for the Grizzlies. That might be the last play of the third quarter.
Excellent move here by Justin. He saw the single coverage, threw a quick pass, very quick, close to a first down.
Grizzlies are lining up like they might want to get one play off here as the clock is running down in the third quarter. Now Roper's going to roll out into the quarter. He rolled away from center, and all of that was for nothing. A weird situation for the Grizzlies, and it's the end of the third quarter. So 3rd and 1 coming up for Montana in a tie game when we start the fourth quarter. A couple big Portland State mistakes have left the door open for the Grizzlies, but we got 15 minutes left in a tie ball game. We'll be back after this.